Hi everyone, so top 5 signs you could be perimenopausal. Before we get on to that, I just want to very quickly address the age that it can all start. So if you research perimenopause online, chances are you're going to see several articles that will tell you that the average age is 51. And it's true, a lot of women do start to experience perimenopausal symptoms when they're in their 50s. But in my experience, it seems to be starting earlier and earlier. So if you are mid-30s onwards, and you're starting to experience some changes, and as I said, I'll cover the top 5 signs that you could be in a minute. My advice would be to, first of all, make a note of all your symptoms. So write everything down, the things that you're experiencing on a day-to-day basis that makes you think, I wonder if this has started. If your symptoms are moderate to severe and you do believe that you would like to see your GP to talk them through, then take those symptoms, that list of symptoms along with you, and obviously talk it through with your GP. The chances are you are possibly going to meet a little bit of resistance. Some are very open to chatting about it and listening and understanding, and some will categorically say point blank that you couldn't possibly be peri because you are way too young. So be prepared for a little bit of resistance. But be determined. If you are really struggling and you do believe that HRT is the right route for you, then be firm. Make sure that you do a little bit of research before you go and think about the outcome that you would like from that appointment. Is there a particular form of HRT that you've read about online that you think might be appropriate for you? And make sure you share your views and your opinions with your GP. Because this is your life, your body, and this is your perimenopausal journey. No one should have to suffer through this anymore. Gone are the days where you just did it all behind closed doors, and the word menopause wasn't even brought up in conversation. I am passionate about effecting change and hoping that I can help steer you lovely ladies, in the right direction and give you the confidence to be able to address it and get the outcome that you deserve. So that's the first thing that I wanted to mention. So if you are younger than 50, and you are starting to experience changes, you are not going mad, you are not losing your mind, chances are this could be the start of perimenopause. So as I've said, make a note of the symptoms, know the outcome that you'd like, and be firm when you go for your appointment. So top 5 perimenopausal signs. Number 1. So this is a tricky one, actually, to know which order to do them in. So I don't think there's any particular order in terms of which one should come first. So let's tackle brain fog, I think. That would be the first one. And it's certainly something that was a little red flag for me when my changes started to happen 3 years ago. So brain fog, I would sum up as being a fuzzy head. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. When normally you'd have a very clear head and be able to think straight, form full sentences without thinking, I don't know what I was saying. Or, you go out the room and you get halfway up the stairs and then you've forgotten what it is that you were going to do. These are all what I would say are examples of brain fog. So when your brain just feels a little bit cotton woolly, and not as sharp as it used to be. So if you are used to being able to, like I've said, be completely coherent, form full sentences and have conversations with people, and all of a sudden you're finding that that's a little bit of a struggle, then that is what I would perceive to be brain fog. So lack of concentration, struggling with the thought processes, and it can be really disconcerting and it can really knock your confidence. Even more so if you are at work and anyone, having to perform to a high level in terms of, meetings that you have to hold, presentations that you have to deliver. Brain fog can really, really knock your confidence and make you question whether it's the right thing for you to be doing anymore. I've had many a post in my private Facebook group about how difficult ladies can find this to be and the stress that it brings on as a result of this. And how you just don't feel like you can cope anymore. So brain fog would be right up there with one of the top signs that you're becoming perimenopausal. Another most obvious one that everybody talks about all the time is hot flushes, or hot flashes if you're over on the other side of the pond. So we call it flushes here in the UK, the US and other places call it flashes. So a hot flush, what is it? So it's a little bit more than just feeling warm. So, you know, when the temperature starts to go up outside and you think, oh, it's got really hot, it's more than that. A hot flush feels like somebody has lit a furnace inside of you, and it kind of creeps up from the bottom, works its way up throughout your whole body and then into your face, and you literally feel like someone has set fire to you. Hot flushes are so awful. If you've never experienced one, I really hope that you never do. Not everybody experiences these kinds of symptoms, and everybody is individual. It's all a very unique experience. So some might experience all of these 5 that I'm going to talk about. Some might not experience any, but might have other symptoms. There are approximately 35 in total. So not wanting to scare you, and it's unlikely that you're going to experience them all. Yeah, 35 symptoms, of which I will talk more about in the future. So yeah, a hot flush, it's not pleasant. It can come out of nowhere. There's no warning. It doesn't have to necessarily be hot outside for you to have a hot flush. So that is a sign. Top 5 signs that you could be perimenopausal. Hot flushes is right up there with them. Number 3, and actually I'm gonna group these 2 together because they kind of go hand in hand, and that's anxiety and stress. So our cortisol level when we become perimenopausal, it tends to fluctuate quite madly. And cortisol is your stress hormone. So it's the hormone, the fight and flight hormone that helps to keep you safe, but it can peak and trough when you're perimenopausal. So it's something to bear in mind. And cortisol tends to be at our highest when we wake up in the morning. So when you get up in the morning and you think to yourself, your heart's starting to race, you're feeling anxious, and this isn't normal for you. I think this is the key to it, is that any of these changes that you might be experiencing, you haven't necessarily experienced them before, or certainly not as severe as you're experiencing them now. So stress and anxiety, like I said, they go hand in hand, side by side with each other. It again can be very debilitating. If you've normally been a very level-headed person and then all of a sudden this anxiety comes out of nowhere, you start overthinking everything. Like I've said, your heart starts racing. For me personally, I experience anxiety dreams. So I don't really suffer with anxiety during the day or when I wake up in the morning. I have mine when I'm asleep. So I have these crazy dreams that mean I can sometimes shoot up straight up in bed with my heart pounding, and then I struggle to remember what it was I was dreaming about. So it's yeah, it's a funny old thing, this perimenopause game. So that's number 3. So anxiety and stress are kind of 3 and 4, but we'll bundle that one in all together. And then weight gain. So if you've watched my intro video, you'll know that this was the number 1 symptom for me. The one that really sort of set alarm bells ringing for me was the change in my body shape. And it crept on slowly to start with, but then it really started to ramp up once I was experiencing other perimenopause symptoms. So I call it menobelly. You can read about that as well. If you Google menobelly, lots of articles would come up. But menobelly, we tend to hold all of our weight round the front. So I looked like I was permanently 6 months pregnant. It's all due to changes in estrogen levels and the way that our metabolism processes those calories. So it's not a very pleasant thing to experience when you're used to being in shape, and then all of a sudden you get this tummy out of nowhere, which just makes you feel really uncomfortable, really unattractive, and then you struggle to get rid of it. So when I coach, I talk about this a lot, and we talk about ways to combat this, and I will talk about this in future videos. But one of the top 5 signs that you're perimenopausal is this weight gain and what we call a menobelly. So it tends to gather around the front of your tummy and can resemble a pregnant-like bump, as it were. So that's number 4. And then to number 5, which I think I am going to mention joint pain. It comes up a lot in the private Facebook group that I run, which is Menopause Matters with Sarah Ridge. So many ladies talking about aches and pains. And this is because good old estrogen, responsible again, with the level of estrogen starting to drop in your body, it affects the ability for your joints to be able to function as they used to. So it protects our joints, and when the level starts to drop, they start to get sore and achy. So if you started to find that you're getting the odd ache and pain here and there, so knees are aching, hips are aching, then chances are, if you're experiencing some of these other symptoms as well, then your perimenopause journey has begun. So just to recap, top 5: brain fog, weight gain, stress and anxiety, hot flushes, and joint pain. They would be the top 5 that I would say would strongly indicate that perimenopause has started for you. If any of your symptoms are severe, as I mentioned when I was talking about what age it can start, if you are struggling to function on a day-to-day basis, then please don't struggle on your own. Go and make an appointment to see your GP, talk it through with them. HRT can really help with severe symptoms. There's lots you can do to help yourself, and that's where I come in, and it works hand in hand with HRT. So it's not one or the other. We can all work together to help us feel better. But if your symptoms are severe, I would thoroughly recommend that you make an appointment with your doctor to discuss the options that are available to you.